Today, we are in the Washtenaw County Court of Judge Simpson for 2 hearings involving a tenant whose apartment sustained fire damage. Their landlord needs the tenant to move her stuff out, but she has no place to put it since the landlord refuses to rehouse her during the repairs. Wait till you hear exactly how her cat started the fire. Let's roll, LawNerds.
Sycamore Meadows versus Kayla P.
For asphalt for the plaintiff.
Jill Bauer for Ms. P, Your Honor. I am going to enter an appearance this afternoon after court. Well,
Oh.
actually, by Monday morning, get out soon.
All right.
Kayla P.
All right. Where are we on this case?
Your Honor, legal services has not received any of the paperwork for this case yet. I requested it by email and haven't received it yet. Mr. Asphalt did say that he would get it to me, but this is a complicated case. It's
It's a fire unit.
it's a termination of tenancy case, and I need time to investigate and file either an answer or a motion.
But she's not in the unit right now.
No, she's not.
They filed a house claim.
Yes. She's zero rent.
But you're no longer in a Sycamore Meadows unit.
No, sir. They didn't rehouse me.
Pardon?
They didn't rehouse me.
Yeah, she's been unhoused since the fire on November 14th.
Yes, sir. And I signed my new lease on that same day before I discovered the fire.
And I've made requests for her to be rehoused and they've been denied.
Okay. When do we want to put it to?
I'd like at least 3 weeks to be able to go over all of this is very complicated. There's a lot of evidence and I want to.
You always tells me everything's complicated.
Your Honor, if the court wants to do that, I would request that she file some type of brief, laying out what the issues are, because I think it's pretty clear. And also, I think that in this case, an escrow order would be appropriate.
She's zero rent.
Pardon me?
Her rent is zero.
Right, but I mean, every month that we can't use the property, it costs my client money. And it's also causing, even more to the point, it's causing.
So hold on, counsel. If her rent is zero, and you want me to set escrow, what would I set her rent? What do you suggest?
Yeah, I guess
set the escrow rent?
I didn't realize her rent
Perhaps Judge Simpson should order the defendant to write a check for $0 to escrow.
was zero. I think my client is more concerned about the damage that is accumulating to the property that's just sitting there in the severely damaged position that it is in. And if she's not even living there, I really don't understand. I mean, this case is just about possession. She doesn't want possession of that unit. In the meantime, somebody's paying for this unit. I mean, we're not seeking a money judgment. It's
Well, why? Then explain to me. Okay.
if they feel that she's entitled under the lease to another unit, then they should file some type of action stating that. And if she's been entitled to it for the last 3 months, then maybe my client will have to pay, although if her rent's zero. But my point is just simply, Judge, I don't understand. This case is about possession. She's not in possession. She doesn't want possession. It would be better for everyone.
No, I think she wants to be housed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just my thought.
Yes,
So she wants to be housed, can't live in the unit that she's in.
correct.
And so therefore, she probably wants a unit.
Yes.
Right, but nobody wants possession of the burned unit. If they feel like they're entitled to another unit, then
But,
they should.
but hold on. If she surrenders possession, then in essence, she's giving up her right to any unit.
Correct.
That's what the problem is.
Yes.
So I get why it's where it is. So. Has it, the basis or for what happened with the fire. Tenant's fault, landlord's fault, or undetermined?
Your Honor, I believe even though the fire report says that her cat started the fire.
Her cat.
Yes, I examined.
Her cat?
She was not at home.
Her cat
Her
started.
cat. I examined.
That's why I've told my cats always stay away from matches.
Then
I don't
the
let them play
stove-
with lighters. I just keep them all in one spot because they could do that. I'm kidding.
One of the things that I want to investigate is how reliable that report is, because the stove that she had, and the knob has to be pushed in and turned. I don't believe a cat could turn on this stove.
Whoa.
So I think there's a problem with the theory of how the fire started. And Miss P was actually at the office doing her research for 2 hours while the fire started, so she wasn't home.
Oh, the cats were turning knobs on.
Yeah, yeah. So there are issues with the theory of the case, and it's going to require some work to get a handle on our.
Okay, so I see.
Yeah.
So
Judge, I mean, my client would be willing, I mean, if she's talking about now like hiring experts to a stove. I mean, if the court just brought up the issue of if she gives up the right to possession of this apartment, then she's giving up the right to claim that they have the obligation to house her in another apartment. I mean, we'd be willing to waive that argument. And if she wants to file a separate pleading to go delve into whether or not we have the obligation to house her in a separate unit that can be preserved. But in the meantime, so the taxpayers aren't continuing to pay for a unit that's vacant and continuing damage to this unit that she clearly doesn't want and isn't living there. Give us possession of that unit, and then we can go forward with this idea of, is she?
why hasn't
entitled
Sycamore
to-
Meadows just gone in and repaired it?
Exactly.
And then decide
Well,
who
we
has,
can't. I mean, if
why
she's-
can't you?
if she's willing to, because I mean, that's essentially taking possession of the property, Your Honor.
No, it's
I
not.
guess, if the court's willing.
It
to
is
enter-
absolutely not the same. It's not the same.
All right, if the court's willing to make the ruling, I mean, obviously, we normally always want an order allowing us to go in unless the defendant has turned in her keys and given us permission. But sometimes on the record, if she's willing to state that it's okay for us to go in there and take possession essentially and start making repairs, that would be.
Why can't the parties stipulate to allow the repairs to the premises?
Your Honor, we were never asked to, and actually, one of the issues is they've been very, they've given her 1 hour to remove all of her belongings from the unit.
1 whole hour. How magnanimous.
Once she has her belongings out of the unit, or if they can work around her belongings, the fire was only in the kitchen area, we would be happy for them to repair the.
That's fine, I'll prepare an order.
Everybody is making this harder than it has to be.
I'll prepare an order, giving her a certain amount of time to remove everything she needs out of there. And then after that time frame, my client can go ahead and take possession. Can we have a 1-week adjournment just to make sure that we're in agreement with that order?
Your Honor, we're not agreeing to them taking possession. We're in agreement with allowing the repairs to begin.
From what I can gather, if she allows Sycamore Meadows to take possession without them rehousing her, she loses her right to be housed on her current subsidy contract. Unhoused is different from homeless, though. There is a distinction.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess.
You guys are
semantics,
never
but I
gonna
mean,
be able to
I think
agree
she
on
has to
language.
get everything out of there, right? Before we can do the. repair.
Right, but I remember this, they were giving her a very small window to try to get stuff out
Yeah, a whole entire hour.
and putting a number of different restrictions on her entry, or at least as she perceived the instructions she was getting. I don't know if it was
No,
true.
they were
Right, I
restricted.
think that has something to do with, because like the county says, nobody can go in there. So I don't know, I guess I'll have to talk it over.
January 31st, 2025,
Well,
12 noon.
Your Honor, I just want to get clarification from the court that that's not going to be the deadline for me to file a response, correct? Because I don't have any of the
You
paperwork.
want it to be the deadline?
Pardon?
Do you want it to be?
No, I would like-
Did I say it was a deadline?
No, I just.
Then it's
wanted-
probably not.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
And make a note of doing like had a test. I'll text you. Okay, all right. Just let's see if we do that.
Please take a second to hit the subscribe thingy. It's free, and it will help you and others find more great LawNerds content. I certainly appreciate it.
Sycamore Meadows versus Kaylee P.
Again, Carrie Zimmerman.
Jill Bauer on behalf of Ms. Peace is also present.
All right.
Judge, I know that last time I wasn't here, I got an email from opposing counsel regarding, a stipulated order. I sent her, a revised stipulated order as to what my client would be willing to, agree to, meaning to give Ms. P sometime a date where she can get everything out of the unit. And she can take anybody that she needs to take with. We're just asking that they wear appropriate face coverings because of the situation. I wasn't here. I heard through the grapevine of what happened. I just want the court to be aware, it's about insurance bids. I mean, realistically, insurance bids and contractor bids and making sure that we have the appropriate people in the unit. All of the things need to be removed, Judge. It's soot filled. There's a wall that needs to come down. Am I correct? There's a whole wall that actually needs to be replaced. So it's not something where counsel wanted Ms. P to be able to leave items upstairs. That's a problem because the smell is going to stay. You know all of the things I'm going to say to you. And so I really just need all of her stuff out and then they can do what they can do. And that's where I'm at. That's what I can agree to at this time. And I sent that order over to opposing counsel for review and they can pick a day.
Well, Your Honor, if they're willing to rehouse her, she would have a place to remove her belongings too. But she's living in her car right now.
Judge, I don't think that's quite accurate because my client has actually seen her with her grandma, who's also in Sycamore Meadows.
I'm pretty sure her grandmother doesn't have room for all of her stuff in her own apartment. Maybe if Sycamore Meadows would spring a couple $100 on a storage unit so the tenant has somewhere she can put her stuff while they fix her place, they could get to the business of fixing her place.
At this time, Judge, I don't have the authorization to agree to rehouse her, and I don't think that my client's willing to do that either from what I've been told at this point. So I'm willing to give her the time that she needs to get her stuff out of there so they can get in the unit and do what they need to do.
And we believe that they should be rehousing her. So we'd ask the court to.
But she's not in the unit. So I guess I'm unclear as to why you're holding the unit hostage.
Well, we're not really
To
holding.
put it bluntly. I mean, because that's what you're doing. I mean, they can't, if her things are in there, they can't do anything. And so I don't know who that benefits.
Well, Your Honor, I was not aware that it seemed to me that the damage was just in the kitchen and that there wouldn't be any work being done upstairs. So that's why I thought she could leave her large items upstairs because she has nowhere else to put them right now. If she was rehoused, she would have a place to put them. That's what I was thinking. I did not have the information that a wall needed to be replaced. That would make it untenable to store things on the second floor.
Okay. So now we are aware that that's the case. So what's defendant's position now? Because whether she's rehoused or not, you can't just hold this unit. I mean, I can issue an order that she has to remove her items or she's at a certain date they're abandoned. And then they can remove them.
Well, I just heard with you that the second floor, so can I ask her if she has a place to move the larger items? Your Honor, Ms. P has items in the unit that she wants to remove, but she she's willing to not take the larger items because she has nowhere to store them, but she just wants the court to be clear that she's not surrendering her right to the unit. She's just removing her things so that repairs can begin. That's what she's concerned about.
At this point, I think I've said it already twice now. My client's not willing to rehouse her. I don't, at this point, I just need her to get the stuff out so that we can get done what we need to get done. This isn't the first fire that took place in this unit. This is the second fire, so there's problems there, but
She must have one crazy pyromaniacal cat.
I think before the court today is what we've discussed about removing the items, and so that's where I'm at.
The order that was sent over regarding removal, what was the date?
I just need her to pick a date. And so that the order says that within the next week, she'll pick a date and she'll be able to go on that date and bring individuals with her. Can I see the?
That's my order.
Okay, Judge, I sent it to her. I thought she. Defendant shall be provided a full day within the next week to go through her belongings and remove any and all belongings from the unit. Defendant shall be allowed to bring people with her to assist her. Defendant and anyone going into the unit shall wear protective clothing and mask while in the unit. So ordered. And if she wants to pick a date now, I can revise it and put the date and the time she'll be able to be there.
Give me a date.
She needs to talk to find out who can help her, but she will pick a date.
Okay.
for the 7th of February, so within the next week.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not this way. Can't pick a date, I'll pick a date.
Okay.
It was February 6th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
So put that in the order, I'll
Yep.
sign the order, and then what do I need to do? Adjourn this case out to deal with the.
I have 2 other things that I want to put on.
Sure.
I'd like to add an explicit sentence to the order that clarifies that she's not giving up her right to be housed by emptying out the unit.
Well, if the case continues, of course she's not. She's
Okay.
challenged. I don't know why that needs. to
Okay,
be
I
there,
just
but
want that to be part of.
Otherwise, she'd get her stuff out and we're done, but obviously we're not.
Okay.
I'll
The
be
other.
handling this when I get Social Security, apparently. Go ahead.
Okay. I think that the stove should be preserved for examination, since that's the key item about how the fire started.
Stove should be preserved.
And we'd like.
Is the
to see-
cat gonna testify? I'm sorry. I thought I'd ask.
Judge, there's pictures of the stove and with the, I think they're attached to, there's actually pictures and in the fire report with showing that the stove was actually on, that the knob was on to turn. So I don't know what.
Yeah, I know, but the issue is whether or not a human being turned it off.
I don't know what the issue is, Judge. I understand very, very clear my issue.
I'm not sure how we're gonna resolve that, but
I'm not either,
I'd
but
like an opportunity to see if I can find someone who might be able to weigh in on that.
I don't know how
is
this,
this cat still available? I mean, I just asked you a question because. Do you still have the cat? Okay.
Judge, I don't know how she wants me to preserve the stove. I have no way of preserving a stove. So unless Miss,
Well, I would imagine that Sycamore Meadows has some storage. I mean, I get the request because somebody's gonna have to show me how this.
there's actually a statement in the report from the fire chief that Miss P said that when she walked in and saw the smoke, she heard the clicking of the stove and then walked back out as well. So I don't know how preserving the stove is going to change any of the evidence that's out there, but
Are you want the stove preserved for what purpose? To determine whether or not
It
there's
could
some,
be started by an animal.
Not just any animal. This firebug animal.
I mean, that's what they put in their motion that I got yesterday.
but
Is
that's
that-
what was in the, I didn't put that in the
but
motion.
that was a statement, I think, by your client
But-
to the fire.
But she recorded the conversation with the fire department. That is not what she said. So the fire report is not accurate.
Okay, well, to make it fair, you guys are gonna have to find some place to store the stove. The stove, prepare an order, gotta preserve the stove as well
If my
as.
client has no place to put it, what would you like me to do? Does Miss Bauer want to find somewhere to preserve it? Judge, because my client doesn't have storage. If they, I mean,
Can you guys work out where to store it? I mean, because obviously somebody's gonna have to pay to have it, or
why doesn't she?
what do you want to do to this stove? You want somebody to go and tell you whether or not this stove can be turned on by an animal, right?
I'm sorry, Your
So-
Honor. Could you repeat that?
I know, Miss Lee was all in your ear. So when would you get the person out?
I'll start working on it immediately. Maybe the stove could be moved to the basement since there's not going to be any work done in the basement.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I'm not the contractor, so I don't know whether or not it's,
I mean, if,
okay, so I'm gonna be serious about this for a moment. The stove needs to be put in some secure location. All right, you're just gonna have to, plaintiff is gonna have to figure that out.
that's fine, Judge. I'll figure it out.
Okay,
And then the last thing, Your Honor, is I finally got paperwork for the case this week. I'd like to file an answer on behalf of Ms. P. I need time to file an answer to the motion that I got yesterday, and then possibly draft my own motion for summary disposition. So I need time for those things with permission of the court.
how much time are you gonna need?
I would like 3 weeks. I don't know if the court would give me 3 weeks or not, because I still have a FOIA request that I'm going to be picking up today that seems to be pretty lengthy.
Judge, we're before you on the 18th of February. You can stick us on that date. You're okay with that?
Probably not, but
Okay.
I mean, I will. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not giving you 3 weeks. You need to file it by the 14th.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
And then I will adjourn this matter out. We can put you on the 18th.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then we'll figure out where we're going. February 18th, 2024, 9 AM. That's in person. You prepare the order regarding preservation and you prepare the other order and then I'll sign it. Thank you. I do also want a picture of the cat's front paws.
Can I just make sure that the things on top of the stove don't need to be preserved? You just want the stove put in a location in the basement or something
Yes,
like that?
that's-
I can get rid of all of this, correct? Because I'm not gonna be able, the
Yeah.
problem with preserving everything that's burnt on the stove is the same problem with all of the stuff.
I don't
in-
think we have pictures of that. I think we're just interested in the mechanics of the stove being able to be examined. So that's fine.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Judge.
And I want pictures of the cat's front paws extended as well as the rear paws, not that those are as important for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy watching this content, please like and subscribe. It helps new channels like this one gain exposure. There is a lot more good court to come, so if you like what you saw, tell your friends. If you didn't, tell me, and let me know what you'd like to see and how I can improve. Thanks.